All right, everyone, good afternoon and welcome to another session of EduStart Learn. I'm glad for every one of us who made it for this. And thank you for coming. Okay. Um, so, okay. So, all right, I'm back. Apologies for that delay. That was a technical hitch. Thank God for Zoom. I want to appreciate every one of us who has made it here today for the EduStart Learn on women entrepreneurship and the future of work. I want to especially appreciate Odun Winnie, the co-founder of Piggyvest. Odun, I know you're here. Can you just say hello to everyone?
Hi guys, nice to be here.
Awesome, awesome. I want to thank you especially for making the time to be here. Thank you so much. Really appreciate this. Great work you're doing with Piggyvest, an amazing job you're doing. And I'm hoping that a lot of the participants will learn a lot from what you'll be sharing today as an entrepreneur, as a woman, and what you think the future is like for entrepreneurs, particularly those who really want to become entrepreneurs as women. I believe personally on my own that entrepreneurship is a platform through which women can really harness a lot of their potentials beyond what mere people think. And I've seen you do a couple of things with Push CV, with Piggyvest, and I hope that you can share from that experience so that those who are here participating in this Zoom webinar, as well as those who will have access to the recording, they will also be able to make the most of the things that they will have to share subsequently. But before you proceed, Audrey, I want to take time out to have a conversation with the participants. So to our participants, just take note of this, take note of the hashtag for the conversation for today. That's Audrey's handle on Twitter. I want to encourage you to follow her on Twitter, as well as also make quotations and also tweet based on what she'll be sharing. I want the conversation to go on, and kindly use the hashtag like you can see on the screen, the hashtag women entrepreneurship, hashtag future of work, as well as EduStart Learn. You can also follow me on Twitter as well and on IG. Kindly follow us. So pull out your devices now. Some of you are using your devices anyway for Zoom. Try to visit the Twitter and follow us, and kindly quote us as the conversation goes on. As Odun makes a conversation, kindly go ahead and follow that on social media. You can also follow organizations as you can see on the screen, and you follow the hashtag. So before I invite Odun now, I would like to just make like a brief intro of her and just spell out a few things about her, like I've presented on the screen. So Odun Winnie is the co-founder and chief operating officer at Piggyvest, one of Nigeria's most popular fintech startups, and has been recognized as the Forbes Africa 30 under 30. That's worthy of applause. And World Women in FinTech Power list. She's actively involved in STEM education and has effective years of experience in business analysis and operations. She is the youngest Nigerian on Forbes Africa list of 20 new wealth creators in Africa 2019. Like, this is recently. And she dreams of using technology to solve the socioeconomic challenges faced in Africa. And I see that dream already materializing itself. She's a first-year graduate of Covenant University, and she's doing amazing things in the tech industry. Ladies and gentlemen, participants, can you just applaud Odun Winnie by just hitting the raise hand button on the Zoom? Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Odun, thank you thank you very much. So I welcome you up to take on your session. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Nice to be here.
Okay, let me unmute them so they can respond to you.
Cool. So today I'm supposed to be speaking on women entrepreneurship and the future of work. But I suppose I can't really start without letting you know that like there isn't really anything like women entrepreneurship, right? It's just entrepreneurship. And the reason why we've had to make the distinction between normal entrepreneurship and female entrepreneurship is because women have been so excluded from
Odon, are you still there? Okay, I think we just lost Odun there. She'll soon be back. Let's be patient a while for her. All right, Odun is back.
Oh my, sorry guys, my internet just kind of went off by itself. I apologize. Okay, so can I continue, Stephen?
Yes, please.
Okay, so yeah, I've been working in business and entrepreneurship, especially in tech, for the past 6-7 years. So everything I'm going to be teaching is really like my experiences that I've managed to gather over the past 6-7 years. Now, this is gender neutral, but clearly I am mostly turning all of my attention to the women who are in the audience today. But I think anyone can apply it as far as like they are interested in business and tech. So it's very interesting stats around women in business. Only 1.3% of businesses that have ever raised money have a female founder. And going
I think Odun is having some slight challenges with our internet. Can you see why all of us entrepreneurs should solve this problem?
Sorry, I'm not sure what's happening. It just keeps tripping off. I hope this
Okay.
stays this time.
It's possibly the
Right.
internet.
I'm going to go straight into the tips so that I don't get interrupted again. So I'm going to talk about 15 things that I've learned from running a business in Nigeria, and from running a business in general, being a woman, owning a business that's so visible, and having to work my way through gaining the respect of people, who end up partnering with the business. When I first started in 2015, I went for a meeting at one of the top Nigerian banks, and I have two male co-founders. And when we entered, I noticed that they didn't greet me. So I was like, maybe they just like didn't have enough time. But as the meeting progressed, it turned out that the reason why they didn't greet me was because they thought I was there to take notes. They thought I was the secretary um, for the for the meeting. And so when it turned out that like they were asking questions that only I could answer, it became very embarrassing for them. I didn't get an apology, but obviously it became obvious that you can't just discount people in a meeting just because they're women. And that's kind of how the world is structured today. It's not a cliche that as a woman you have to work twice as hard. You have to work twice as hard to like get just half as much respect. So no, I don't have slides, so I hope people are able to take notes. I typically don't work in slides, I just write them down. So the first tip, as a woman in business, you need to know where to focus your energy and your time, right? So you need to know what to prioritize. You need to know when to fight and when to back down. You need to know how to pick your fights, right? There is a lot of things that are stacked against you. The world is going to see you as less because of your gender. They're going to think you're not smart enough. At some point, when I was in 100 level in Covenant, on the first day, I studied computer engineering. On the first day, I was sitting beside a guy, and then he asked me, "What are you studying?" And I'm like, "Engineering." And you know what he said? He said, "Why are you studying engineering? Isn't that a five-year course? That you should be studying something like computer science or economics so that you can finish fast." So you see, I graduated top of computer engineering. I was the best graduate to study computer engineering. He didn't graduate at all. But that day, I didn't fight him. I didn't even reply, right? So you pick your fight, you pick your battle. Some things are not worth fighting, right? So you need to be focused on the task you have at hand and don't allow external thoughts or distractions get in your way, right? You can accomplish more and accomplish better by focusing your energy on what you need to progress, strictly what you need to progress. Now, sometimes you need to fight, and I will get into that more, but a lot of the times you just need to like keep your head down and keep moving, because eventually they will respect you. So that was my first tip: know where to focus your energy and your time. The second thing, learn how to hold yourself accountable. See, one big difference between women and men is that we do enough self-blaming, right? So there is a difference between accountability and blaming yourself for everything. A huge difference. So when you own a business, it means that you need to be able to set goals, track and monitor them. Manage your expectations. When you achieve things, sing your own praises. Know when you need to reevaluate like your strategy, but never ever blame yourself for things that you cannot control. There is no need for you to take responsibility for anything, but when you are responsible, you need to hold yourself accountable for it. Every aspect of personal accountability and being honest with yourself will empower you as a woman to become more successful in business. Believe in yourself, believe for yourself, and then continue to refine that strategy, right? You are not going to achieve anything by not telling yourself the truth. Look, the world is going to tell you harsh truth, and it's better if you get there before the world, because it won't be so kind, right? So learn to hold yourself accountable. Number three, never ever fear asking for help, right? So one of the like downsides to women being so marginalized in tech and entrepreneurship is that you tend to you develop this like chip on your shoulder. You want to do it all on your own. but there's no one who can do it on their own. I always say that to people that I'm where I am today because of like so many people. It takes a village, and for me, it did take a village. My dad, my mom, my siblings, and then strategic people I met in Covenant. My two co-founders, Joshua and Somto, are both students of Covenant University, whom we've worked together on so many things in school before coming out to start companies together. And then people we met along the way are people who've helped us. Never be afraid of asking for help. Whenever you're faced with a task that you don't know how to do, there are not enough hours or enough time. There's not enough time in the day for you to not ask for help. You can't do it all on your own. You By asking for help, you are not revealing a weakness. You are revealing a strength. And if you don't ask for help, you find out that you are utilizing time and efforts that could have been better focused. So ask for help. It always turns out to be a net positive, right? Never be afraid of asking for help. Number 4, don't be afraid to fail. This is a very interesting one. As a CU student, like one of the things I realized was that we had so much from EDS that I actually developed like a chronic fear of failure. So much was that like urge to please. And failure is scary, but failure is not the worst thing in the world, right? When we started Push CV in 2014, after starting Push CV, we started a company called 500 Dishes. It failed. We started a company called 99 Staff. It failed. We started a company called Household. It failed. We started a company called Front Desk. It no longer exists. So I've had so many failures, right? And you can't be afraid of that. It's just a part of life. Failure is a part of life. By fearing failure, you don't leap into entrepreneurship. And this is doubly true for women, because you think you don't want to do it if you can, so you don't do it at all. But you only miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So don't be afraid of failure. Famous entrepreneurs like Coco Chanel, Ruth Handler, Oprah Winfrey, Sarah Blakely, and many others they didn't allow failure to hold them back, right? Fear is natural, but overcoming fear is the most powerful thing. Failure is a natural part of life, and it should be viewed as a jump off point to what would be your success, right? Failure is not the end of the world. It doesn't stop anything. After 4 failed businesses, we started Piggyverse. Piggyverse is 4 years old today, and Piggyverse now has over 1 million users who are actively using it. We're still working on it. And we embrace the failures. We embrace them. We use them as jump off points to learn. We use them as jump off points to refine our strategy. It took us from 2013 to 2017 to understand the value and just like the direction that Piggyverse was going. 4 years. 4 years with 4 major failures and so many minor ones. So you need to be able to work with it, use it to fuel your success. So don't be afraid to fail. Number 5, always be committed. So always being committed, this one doesn't really need an explanation. Is one of the things that we've been taught before. Staying committed allows you as a female entrepreneur to stay focused and determined. You don't need, so being committed has an element of being self-aware. I mean, when I was younger, my dad used to tell me, Oduayo, aim very high, work very hard, care very deeply. That last part, care very deeply, that's commitment, right? So when you aim very high and you're working very hard, you need to care very deeply. If you don't care very deeply, the work that you're doing, you can easily get distracted from it. But that
Hello, Ado, are you still there? All right, to attend this, let's give her some time. I guess that's the internet connection somewhere there.
right. Sorry, I went off again. I'm back again.
Okay.
So always be committed, right? Don't let anyone distract from the vision that the vision and the aim that you're trying to achieve. Don't let anyone take away from the goal. You don't need external validation or external approval to be able to do anything in your business. Just go for it because you care about the end goal. Number six, understand that you have to believe in yourself before anyone will. This is very important. Like a lot of women out here, we all are like incredible victims of imposter syndrome. As women, you've been told so many times that you don't belong here that you start to believe it. But that's not true, right? I'm in tech today, arguably one of the most visible women in Nigerian technology today. But I didn't always start out that way, right? But you need to look at yourself and tell yourself, I can do it. And you can. There is nothing stopping you except yourself. Like external distractions are just that, external. You're the only one who can stand in your own way. So you need to look at yourself and believe in yourself before anybody else will. Female entrepreneurs need to learn not to seek approval or acceptance. Believing in yourself allows you as a female entrepreneur to become confident and committed to overcoming the failure that I told you not to be afraid of and the hardships. You know, when you believe in yourself, you are able to embrace the failure and use it, right? Failure is not the end of the world for anyone. You don't see men failing and stopping all of those a lot of the time. They fail, they fall down, they get up again. Why not us? You know, why don't we do that? Why don't a lot of us do that? I know that the world is distracting and reductive in its reasoning when it comes to women in business. But even if the world is, why should you do that to yourself? Believe in yourself. You are what you say you are. Self-awareness, self-commitment, caring, and everything you are to yourself is what you will project to the world. So if you don't believe in yourself, how does the world start to believe in you? You have to believe in yourself before anyone will. Now we're getting into the business part. Number seven, know your target audience, right? Know your target audience. Now, you see, when people want to start businesses, you ask them, who is your market? You know, a lot of people will say Nigerians. Nigeria is a country of 200 million people. 200 million people can be divided into so many infinite segments that it doesn't make any sense for Nigerians to be your target market, except you're a telecommunications company or bank, right? And even banks have this age group that they are targeting. They're not targeting everybody, as evidenced by the fact that we have the informal sector. So who is your target audience? Let's assume now, when we started PiggyVest, we were like, okay, who is likely to use payments products on the internet? And then we started to narrow it down and we realized that those people fell between the ages of 18 and 35. And then we started to aggressively target those people. That's how targeting works. If you're selling, for instance, bulk food and delivering bulk food, who is your target market? Your target market is likely people between the ages of 24 and 35, young professionals who are way too busy to cook for themselves but have enough disposable income, right? So how exactly are you going to find out who your target market is? Your target market is not everyone. It's never everyone. Who are you going to aggressively target? People are often building products and companies and brands without defining their target audience. That's a complete waste of effort. You are wasting so much effort and time that you could be using to double down on people who will actually buy your product. As a woman, you know that like there's a lot of distractions. Some of you are married, some of you have kids, some of you have to cook when you get home and stuff like that. So many distractions that you cannot afford to waste energy. That's what audience targeting does for you in your business. You conserve your energy and you focus it towards what needs it, right? Your target audience is not just the consumer or customer, and also the employees, peers, influencers who will be assets in different ways. How are you going to focus all of these people's attention on your product? And whose attention are you focusing? Do you know it? Right? That's the future of work. Targeting everyone is really old school. In fact, since 2016, no one's doing it anymore. You need to be able to focus all your energy. That's why we have things called primary, secondary, and tertiary targets. Primary targets, self-explanatory. Who is the first person you would like to sell to? Secondary is that everybody else can come, right? Like on Piggyvest, we don't tell like people who are like 60 not to sign up on the platform. Everyone is welcome. But our ads and our processes are specifically targeted towards a particular age group that we want to grow with. I hope you guys are getting me. Am I making sense? Are you guys understanding? You can just write it in the chat. I'm also trying to follow it. So if I'm not like, yeah, if I'm not, if there's something you want me to touch on, please let me know. And you can use the Q&A as Steven said. So number 8, never stop learning. You see, and I'm going to like direct like this particular number to women. Like the world says you have to work twice as hard to get half as much. That's true across work. That's true across schooling. That's true across everything for women. See, learning is a task that no female entrepreneur can ever stop doing. You can't afford to. Learning a trade, learning a talent, learning new trades and new talents, continuous learning. Like now, I studied computer engineering in school, and now I'm doing a master's at the University of London in finance and banking, right? No one else is doing that, just me, because people are going to look at you and say, why you? And you need to be able to say, yes, me. Yes, me, and this is why. This is why it should be me. So you need to continue to learn and continue to build up and continue to improve, continue to come up with new thoughts, new ideas, new opportunities. Find ways to learn from people that you're surrounding yourself with. There is an finite number of avenues to continue to improve yourself. Surround yourself with people who are better at things than you are. Find a mentor, join master classes, just learn, keep learning. Lifelong learning is an incredible commitment, even more so for women, right? Why your self-awareness is enough, but it needs to shine through to the world that even when they are discriminating against you, when you open your mouth to speak, the quality that comes out needs to be unarguable, unimpeachable. That when you speak, people need to be like, yeah, no, this person deserves to be here. There's nothing we can do about it. And that's why you can never, ever stop learning. Number 9, empower those around you. So you see, one of the things that I believe in very much is paying it forward, right? In 2014, when I joined technology, there was like 10 women in the Nigerian tech space that were visible, including Miss Funke Okweke, Ikem Uwaje, Chika Uwazie, and some other people, right? And it was an uphill task, but one of the things that's very important is that like women in tech are always helping other women in tech. It took me 6 years, 7 years to be here, and what I'm doing now, what I hope to continue to do, is to hold the door open for the women coming after me, so that their journey isn't as hard as mine. Make it easier for them to walk in and do their own thing. Empower the people around you. Empower the women around you, right? When you're trying to convince women to join technology, convince women to join science and technology, convince women to start businesses, it needs to be because they can actually see a blueprint to success, either in you or in the map that you've laid out for them. You don't always need to have credit. Provide an opportunity for others. Empower others. If you empower others, you will always have the best of the best around you. I can tell you from experience, the best employees, the best mentors, the best clients. You listen to people, be empathetic, be encouraging, empower people as an entrepreneur. Help. Look, the sky is so big that we can all shine. Like helping another woman climb up one rung of the ladder isn't going to take away anything from you. You are always going to be a success by virtue of helping other people. So empower those around you. And this also goes for the men. Anyone who you can take and sufficiently help in any way that you can is a plus. It's always a net positive. Can people say, oh my, when someone says your name, can people say, oh my God, this person is so helpful. This person is always so eager to introduce. It can just be an email, an introductory email. That's all it needs to be, right? So always empower people around you. Number 10, don't forget to develop your personal brand, right? I don't know. Is everyone here a Covenant University student? Because we had this EDS class, and I remember EDS class in 400 level first semester,
Not
and
everyone is a CU student, by the way.
well, I'm just use the example anyway.
Okay.
In EDS class, I can't remember the name of the lecturer. He taught us about building a personal brand, and like your business isn't you, right? You are you. And that was a small lesson in EDS, but I started to learn it around 2016, 2017. Like the things that are associated with you as a person are very important. Like your business is clearly not you, but you are you, and you need to stand for something. Like, what are your values? If you ask people, who is Odunayo? What does Odunayo stand for? One of the things that people tell you, she's a feminist. That's like a big part of my identity, right? She helps other women, right? I'm very, very, very passionate about like women initiatives. In fact, I went on to found my own. And so feminism is a huge part of my identity. Tech is a huge part of my identity. Who are you outside of your business? Because your business, again, isn't you, right? By having a strong personal brand, you can then leverage it to boost your company's visibility. Steve Jobs owned Apple, right? We all know that. But his own personal brand helped leverage the Apple brand. Steve Jobs, you know him as a very powerful man. Don't forget to build your personal brand. That's what I'm saying. Right. So don't forget to build your personal brand. Sorry, I'm speaking to Divine who didn't hear the complete sentence. Right. So you know Steve Jobs, but everyone knew Steve Jobs as a turtleneck wearing incredible genius. And that helped elevate the profile of the iPhone because everyone wanted something that was built by this incredible enigma of a man. You can't deny that, like, if you see anybody wearing a black turtleneck and glasses, your mind immediately goes to Steve Jobs. Am I lying? I know I'm not lying. All right. It happens to everyone. Once if you can you see, can you remember the lady from Theranos? That's what she tried to copy, the Steve Jobs brand. Right? You need to be able to like stand and then be able to cast your own light onto your own business. That's part of building your personal brand, right? You need to be able to leverage your own personal brand to open doors for others to look at you as the thought leader and then patronize your business. Now, building your personal brand is, first of all, like the basis of it is pick topics that you're passionate about, learn about them, and then start to talk about them. Let people be able to hear your opinions like on the things that are important to you. That's the first thing, just by speaking. I did a lot of building of my personal brand via my Twitter handle. And so now like everything that goes on in my life, like you can likely get hints of it from Twitter, and all the things I believe in and all the things I'm passionate about always go through my Twitter handle. And so that's very important. So everyone knows that like there's Piggy Vest, but everyone also knows me as Odunayo Eweni, and that's very important to me. It's very important to me for people to know me as who I am first, and then know my business. Number 11, develop thick skin. Look, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Business is hard. It is incredibly difficult to build a business, and even more so to build a business that's sustainable, right? If you're building a business that will last 1 year, that's fine. But if you're building a business, right, that's supposed to last 10 years, that's supposed to like go, like extend past you, grow past you, become bigger than you, it is a lot of work. There's a lot that goes into it. One of the hardest parts of being a successful woman in any profession is that you live in a world that doesn't appreciate successful women. So if you are driven and successful, people look down on you and they try to minimize your success. And we already know that the world doesn't have many seats for women. So it is important to either take a seat or build your own chair, right? And so you need to develop thick skin. It's one of the hardest and most valuable things any woman in any profession can learn, right? Develop very thick, because while building your own chair or pulling up a chair and taking a seat at that table, you're going to hear so many things. People are going to call you names, people are going to minimize your achievements, people are going to want to take credit for your work, but you cannot let that beat you down. Develop thick skin, keep going, right? In my career, and it's a very short one, it's still under 10 years, I have faced sexual harassment. I have had people abuse me. I have had people actually put out blog posts that were completely untrue and unfounded, but I'm still here. And that's all that matters. After the dust has settled, who is left standing tall? It must be you. That's one of the advantages of building a thick skin. It's very valuable. When, like, and I already mentioned being committed. Now, if you don't need external approval or external validation, you find it easy because you have your own internal convictions, and that helps you to develop a thick skin and just focus on the work. Number 12, learn from your mistakes. Now, developing thick skin, being committed and doing all of these things, it doesn't mean that you will not make mistakes. You will make mistakes. But one of the ways to like make sure that you're learning from your mistakes is to first of all own it. Own it and then learn from it. Like, you are not perfect. You are not like God. So you're going to stumble. Mistakes are a natural, very natural part of professional development. Every successful entrepreneur has made their fair share of errors along the path, right? But the takeaway is what's important. Does it provide you a foundation to grow, overcome, and improve? Right? We've made mistakes across several different categories. Not reading contracts properly. I can't even begin to count. Hiring too fast. One of the like most interesting stories about Push Seed is when we raised our seed fund of $200,000 and then hired so fast and we were not making any money. And at the end of 1 year, we ran out of money and we had to fire a lot of our staff. That's one of the biggest mistakes, biggest gaffes of my career. And I'm still learning from it today. So, you use your mistakes as a foundation to grow. Use your mistakes as use your mistake as a foundation to grow, to improve, and to overcome. Number 13, learn from your mistakes. But number 13 is learn to take responsibility too. This ties into the accountability that we spoke about like earlier. Mistakes come with a price to pay, whether it's life changing or small, it doesn't matter. But you must accept responsibility. Accepting responsibility, what it does for you is it helps you keep yourself grounded and committed to growing and developing. Now, while people tend to like pile on a woman more for making a mistake, like when this our petroleum minister embezzled, and the sentiment was that she would keep women from ascending to that position. But we have like many men in Nigeria that keep stealing. No one says it to keep men from doing anything. That's not the point, though. The point is that women need to not fear being imperfect in the business world because no one is perfect. But take responsibility, hold yourself accountable, learn, grow, overcome, and improve, right? And always understand that you will pay a price. When I make mistakes and when I made mistakes in my career, they came with pretty hefty prices and I had to pay it. And sometimes some will still come. I know some will still come and I will still have to pay it. You cannot really avoid like the punishment for your mistakes. Number 14, learn how to say no, right? This is very difficult for a lot of women. Saying no doesn't come naturally to us, but saying no is a very, very important like part of preserving yourself, preserving your business, and preserving like your peace of mind generally, right? It's extremely important to you as a woman entrepreneur to know how to say no. No to a bad offer, no to like something you need, someone's asking you to do, but you don't have enough time for. Even if you would appear rude, protect yourself. Say no. You can't do everything and have a chance to grow and develop your business. Learning to say no also helps you build comfort with discomfort. Like, you need to be comfortable with not being comfortable saying no to people, right? Like, people are going to like come to you with like events, like speaking engagements. You can't do everything, so you need to be able to say no. Someone wants to invest in your business, you respect the person, but the offer is bad. You say what? You say no. Interviews, you say no. Decisions that are not in your favor, say no. No is a complete and like all encompassing sentence. Be able to say it. Learning to say no allows you to become comfortable with discomfort. And when you tolerate the pain of saying no and not eliminate it, you grow as a business person. You can't take every opportunity. In fact, sometimes you have to say no some good opportunities just because you don't have the bandwidth. And that's fine. So you need to understand the power of the word no. Right? Everyone extols the power of yes, but people always forget to tell you that sometimes Saying no is completely okay. And finally, number 15 is that you need to be able to make lemonade out of lemons, right? Like you need to always be able to deal with whatever is thrown your way. That's what that means, right? Um, I don't know. We're all familiar with the Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg, and when she um, when she lost her husband, and people were trying to comfort her, she was like that she wanted her husband back and all of that. And what the person told her was, option A is not available, right? Your husband is dead, so why not kick the shit out of option B, right? So if plan A is not available, take full and complete advantage of plan B, right? The thing you wanted is not always going to be the thing you get. So what will you do about it? What will you do with it? See, my dad is a university professor, right? And I would go to my dad with problems. Sorry, was a university professor. And I'll go to my dad with problems, and he'll say, I will explain all the problems to him and why this is hard for me. And my dad would just look at me and smile and say, so what are you going to do about it? That's the question you need to ask yourself. What are you going to do about it? Say you're expecting an invest like a payment of 1 million naira and it doesn't come. What are you going to do about it? You know, how are you going to handle the hand that you've now been? Now that the money is not here, are you going to let your business die? No. You're going to have to do the best that you can with the option that you have, right? In business, in life, in everything, the opportunities and options that you have are never always going to be the one that you want. You will always hope and wish that things are different. But whatever cards you're dealt, it's important to kick the shit out of them. It's very important not to let yourself be saddened or let yourself be overwhelmed by not getting what you want. What are you going to do with what you have? And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you've learned something, and I'm open to your questions.
Thank you very much, Odun. That's really amazing. Can we just applaud Odun by the raising on of our hands? Use the button, raise hand, just to applaud Odun for what he has done. Wow, you got to 15, 16. Well done, Odun. Thank you very much. You've done really amazing. Thank you for what you shared. Thank you for good things you've done. Thank you for the work you're doing. I have a couple of questions for you. Not much, but I want to give opportunities to those who have questions, first of all, since we set up this platform for them. So let me start this way. So for anyone who has a question for Odun, question or questions for Odun, please use the Q&A button and input your question there so that we can manage that effectively. So I think we can go to the Q&A session now. Can you click the Q&A button so that we can just go through together?
All right, I've seen there's 5 questions right now.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. The first question here is, how do I handle colleagues and friends that want to take my work or contract because they are closer to the client? So this is very difficult because in Nigeria, a lot of the time, connections and in business is usually supersedes qualification. But in my opinion, the best way to handle it is by showing what you can do. Right now, first of all, you handle it in twofold: the client, right? You need to prove to the client why you are the best for the work or for the contract, and then that will hopefully get you the job. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's not enough. But I always tell people, when your best is not enough, it's so that you can be able to say you've tried, right? I have tried. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Your qualifications alone cannot get you the job. But on the other hand, if you're not getting the job is due to a colleague and friend that is taking the contract, you need to reevaluate having those people as friends and around you. I always tell, I'm never afraid to cut people off, especially when it is warranted and justified. So that's very important. If you do lose a contract because your friend tries to be underhanded, then you need to handle it in the way that's best for you. Like, this is a very personal thing, and I think that you will need to think around, do I still want this person around me? And is this person still the kind of person who will not cut me off again in the future? Right? I hope that helps.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. The next question. Can you speak on the traits that you possess that distinguish you from others, especially men in tech? I don't know. I really don't. I think that okay, so the one that people have told me is that I'm very determined. Like it's something called grit, and someone on Tech Kaba was expatiating upon it. But I think that's like largely it comes from, again, my upbringing. My parents didn't allow us give up, and so I don't know how to give up, right? Even if I don't know it, I continue to try, I continue to hack at it until I figure it out. So that's one key distinguishing trait. Another thing, I don't know if this distinguishes me from men in tech or I just have it, is I'm never afraid to speak my mind. And that got me into a lot of trouble in Covenant. But outside of Covenant, it's actually pretty helpful. People and you can't take advantage of me because I'm never afraid to speak my mind. Yeah. Can I recap point number 11? Sure, of course. Point number 11 is developing thick skin. Developing thick skin is essentially telling you to be able to take all the negativity that people will throw at you, right? The world is not going to be all rosy for you. It's not going to be all positive. There will be people who try to take things from you, like that first question. There are people who try to tell lies. There are people who just take advantage. But in general, you need to be able to take it, use it, and continue working. Okay, this next question, building personal brand. How do you connect with the issue of building enduring businesses, especially in Africa, where the issue of succession is a great challenge, as most African businesses fizzle out when the founder leaves? Okay, so building your personal brand isn't the same thing as building the business around you. No. Building your personal brand is actually more about distinguishing yourself away from the company so that the company is able to stand on its own, but you stand on your own. And another important thing to note is also that building your personal brand doesn't mean you don't allow others within the company to shine, right? Like I said, the sky is big enough for everyone. If there's a person who's great in your company, you allow them shine, let them go out, let them represent. That way, people can actually see that you are actually able to allow other people into the spotlight. And the last part is that people actually have to be very deliberate about succession planning. People, your succession is not going to magically happen. If you die with all the secrets of the trade, no one is going to be able to take over. So you need to be able to build a system that is not concentrated around you. Succession planning is actually a whole different subject than personal brand building. Two separate things that you must do very, very, very deliberately. Okay, next one. What can you do if presently you don't have any idea or vision as an entrepreneur? How do you still keep yourself relevant? And is it by being an entrepreneur that you can make a significant change to the world? No, I completely, I don't agree that you have to be an entrepreneur to make significant changes to the world. Johnny Ive of Apple was hired as a designer. The current CEO of Google was hired. He's an employee. So he was hired as an employee and he rose through the ranks to become CEO, and he is changing the world. The CEO of Microsoft right now. He's not Bill Gates, but he's making waves. So there's so many different ways. Like the highest paid bank executive in what's it called? The highest paid bank executive in Africa is a Nigerian. She works at Stanbic. She was hired and she's making changes. So we're not going to limit ourselves to entrepreneurship. So it's okay if you don't have the ideas right now, that's fine. You work for someone and you help them build and hopefully take that time to learn and to grow, and then your own idea will come. But anyone can change the world. We all can change the world. I just started using PiggyVest and I love it. How do I make the most of the product? Right. I knew it. Sorry. Yeah. Um, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can, Audrey, you can go on.
Okay, okay, awesome. Right. So how do I go back to the corporate world after taking a break from maternity? I think that it is really about like lots of research. It depends, and it really depends on the amount of time that you've taken off after like going for maternity leave. I will say though that it's unfortunate that the world isn't friendly yet to people who are coming back from maternity leave, but it can be done, right? It can be done, and you're going to find something. You just need to do your research to find which companies are friendly to people who've taken some break off of the workforce. So spend a lot of time on the internet, look at vacancies from LinkedIn to Indeed to Jobberman to Push CV, and I'm sure you'll find something. But also you need to show them that you actually, when you were on maternity leave, you were learning something and you haven't lost a lot of the knowledge that you had before, because companies are inherently sexist and they just believe that when you took that break, you were not doing anything else. How do I get ideas and make products from them? It takes a village. I have two co-founders. I don't get my ideas on my own. I don't make the products on my own. So get a solid team, and also understand that like your big ideas don't have to be they don't have to be giant disruptive things. Sometimes they're simple. Thingiverse was born from the idea of an actual colo, taking an actual colo and making it digital. That's not like, it's not inherently disruptive or gigantic, but look what it's become, right? So anything can be your big idea. You just need to look around and make sure that you're solving a problem that people actually have. When is the right time to start? As a young person, there's this feeling that you're not qualified yet, not there yet, that it's too early to start something. What do you say about this? Okay, I'm 26 years old. So that means that I left Covenant at the age of 19. And I started my company right after I graduated from Covenant. So that tells you that it's not too early and qualifications don't matter in that way. I graduated with a BEng in computer engineering. I'm working in finance. So you could argue that I've had to do a lot of learning that were not in my certificate. So all of these things, they pale in comparison to your determination to actually start something. So like those feelings, push them aside and just go ahead and do it. If you have an idea, just go ahead and launch. You are not too young, you're not unqualified, you are there, it is time. Once you have that idea, it is time, right? What will I say to women wanting to build a team for their small businesses? Be careful, right? You need to build a team that respects you. That's the first thing. You need to build a team that believes in the vision, right? So when you're building a team for your business, it's very likely that you're building a team, and you can't afford to hire people who undermine your authority. You can't afford to hire people who don't respect you. You need to hire people who will take instructions. So yeah, I would say consider those two things when you're trying to build a team for your small business. How do you determine if a person is someone you can trust to form a company with? Unfortunately, I can't help you there. I don't know. I think these are all personal indicators. From my own time side, I was very lucky. I know I've known my co-founders for about for about 10 years because we were in Covenant together. I've known them, or we've been friends since we're in 200 level. And so like I'm familiar with a lot of their mannerisms and their attitudes and everything. So I think that this is very, very personal, and you just need to look at the person. Can you trust the person? You know, I think that one generic indicator though is someone that you are friends with. You need to be friends with them. You need to like them, because entrepreneurship is hard and you will fight. So you need to make sure that it's someone that after you finish fighting, you can still be friends. Can we get the recording from this audio? Stephen is in charge of that. I think he might be able to make that available to you.
Yes, you will.
How can you handle an existing customer that
Oh, it
enjoys
has
your service
ended.
and
Now
finds
people are
it
still on now.
okay? Look, I will say that a person that enjoys your service and can't pay you is not an advantage for you, right? I mean, yeah, they enjoy your service, but like as a business person, while you are like focused on being user centric and making sure users enjoy your product, one of the most important things is getting the money to sustain that business. A customer that finds it difficult to pay you isn't your customer. What if you have to choose between your work and family, because women normally face this? So you see, I don't have a family, I don't have any children, I'm not married, but my mom, who is also a university professor, had us, and she had her work, and she balanced it. I'm not going to say it wasn't hard. She definitely made some sacrifices, but she was able to do it. I think that this is really about the woman and the person who is your partner in life, right? Is your partner willing to support you and pick up the slack when you sometimes have to prioritize work? Those are the questions you have to answer. And I think that like feeds into like the choices that women make in general, when it comes to life partners. You need to be able to pick someone who understands that sometimes you will have to prioritize work and they have to step in and do it. All the times when my mom was doing her PhD, when my mom was becoming a professor, my dad was home cooking for us. My dad always dropped us at school and picked us up. Actually, he did that all my life, right? He cooked for us. He like, he put us to bed and he did the dishes and stuff like that. So find someone who understands that them being your partner in life across board is not an insult. For a woman starting a business, what would you advise her to focus on before choosing a co-founder? Mutual respect and friendship. Those are very, very key things. Mutual respect, not just like respect because you're like a business person, respect for you as a human being, and friendship because, as I mentioned before, it gets really tough. So you need to like start a business with people whom, even when you are fighting, you want to be in business with this person. Which book can you say has influenced me the most, and can I recommend those sources, please? So I don't read a lot of business books, and I'm really sorry. I typically read biographies more, because I think I learn better from people telling me about their life. They're not particularly trying to tell me about business; they're just telling me what happened in their life. So I think that you may have to research that on your own. Now I can say the ones I've been reading though, so I can read those out. I have Super Pumped, The Battle for Uber, King of Capital, Liar's Poker, Shoe Dog, The Story of Nike by Phil Knight, Billion Dollar Whale, AI Superpowers, Bad Blood. This is the story of Theranos and how it crashed and burned. So I'm just starting a career in tech and I would like to know how to go about it. Well, starting a career in tech is like starting a career, right? Every business is tech enabled these days. So, how do you go about it? Pick a company you like and start applying, start building up the skills that they'll need. Eventually, you get your foot in the door. Starting a career in tech is much the same as getting a job, right? There's no like magic to it, there's no science to it. You just have to keep trying and trying and trying until you are able to finally get your foot in the door in one company. What market penetration strategies can I implement? Well, I don't know your business and I don't know the market, like, and I don't know what you're trying to like penetrate for, so I can't really answer that question comprehensively. But you will have to employ many different kinds of marketing strategies to be able to get your target audience to use your products. How do I go about customer acquisition and maintenance? Same person, the same answer, same answer. I can't answer the question without knowing the specifics. Describe what I think the future of digital technology in Nigeria is. That's a very interesting question. Thanks for asking that. I think that the future of digital technology in Nigeria is one where a lot more services are going to make the jump from physical to online. Now, see, coronavirus, the COVID-19, has really hastened the work from home part of the future of digital tech. Who agrees with me, right? Like we have banks working from
Absolutely.
home, we have like everyone is working from home these days. Somehow we're all managing to order from the market from inside. I haven't been outside of my street in about 7 weeks, and I've been eating, I've been doing everything I need to do. So you see, that's the future of digital technology. Digital technology, everyone thinks about, you think about Internet of Things, you think about artificial intelligence, but that's not what it is for Nigeria yet. For Nigeria, is about taking the basics from the physical to the digital, right? Grocery services, delivery, food, everything that you're doing now during the time of COVID-19 is what a digital Nigeria can look like. We were ordering like cabs to our homes before, but now it turns out you don't have to leave at all to do anything. Ordinarily, this webinar, I might have had to make the drive to Covenant University to come teach it, right? But now I'm seated in the comfort of my home, and so are you. And we're communicating, I'm answering your questions, and you're listening. That's what it looks like for a country like ours. We haven't been on the same level as the world when it comes to like the technology revolution. You know, the world is on like the fourth digital revolution, but Nigeria has just started. And for us in the medium term, the future of digital technology is definitely taking our basic services and making them like internet enabled. Oh, that's all. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Odun. This is really amazing. Can you hear me clearly?
I can. Yes, I can.
Awesome. Awesome. So thanks to our participants as well. So now let me dish my own questions to you. I hope I did well as a good lecturer while you were at CU, right? I did well. Right?
You didn't teach me like that. You taught me like twice.
Awesome. I hope you enjoyed my class.
I did. Thank you.
Okay. Now, I would like you to share now, particularly for students who are in school, what's it like starting a company from school? Is it a good recommendation? What do you think?
You see, I think that it's really about your bandwidth, right? My younger sister, Tolokwe, she did business in Covenant from when she was in like 200 level to when she left. And she still came out with a first class. So for some people, they can, and it will not affect their grades. For some people, they end up like moving their attention from something suffers, basically. Something. So if you are able to do it and make money from it, and your education doesn't suffer and the business doesn't suffer, then by all means, go for it. It's good practice, actually. I think it's really great practice if you can pull it off. But some people can't, and that's also okay. It's okay to focus on the one thing that you know you can be successful at and then go on to business after.
Awesome. So now let's talk to Odun in Covenant University. So Odun now, she's graduated from Covenant University. She's the co-founder of PiggyVest. Now Odun needs to talk to Odun in Covenant University now, 2008 or 2010. So what will you tell Odun in Covenant University 2010? Now, what would you have done differently?
Doing Covenant University 2010. What was I doing in 2010? I don't know. I was very focused. I was a really great student though. All my lecturers loved me. Except
entrepreneurially now.
Entrepreneurially, I don't think I would have done anything different. What I did in Covenant University at the time was support my friends who were starting businesses. And I think that I would do that again. I would tell her to stick to that again. I had a goal in Covenant, and that was I wanted to be the best graduate student in computer engineering. That was very important to me. And so I put all of my focus into that. And I would tell Odun then again to do it again. Like, right, it was very worth it. Like, that's one of the like achievements of my life. I really enjoy being able to say that. And so I would completely do it again. I would just tell her to keep taking the back seat while in Covenant, and then, come out and be a star after.
Awesome. So my final question to you in this session is this. So what's your journey like? Journey from Push CV to PiggyVest? You touched a bit of it during your session, but I'd like it to be more detailed. The journey from Push CV to PiggyVest.
It was very hard. When we started Push CV was growing, but we are serial entrepreneurs. And so we always just felt like, oh my God, there's something missing. And there's something that we need to still be doing. And so that's what kept driving us to create more. So we created and we just kept creating. And we kept failing. We lost a lot of money, our own money, because we were bootstrapping and we hadn't raised a lot of investment. Along the way, we created 4 products that failed. Push CV ran out of money and we had to downsize to to have like 5. No, actually, we had to downsize from 21 staff to 3. And And what we just kept pushing. In fact, in 2015, December, right before that idea for Piggy Vest came, I was ready to give up and just tell my dad, I think it's time for my master's degree. And then a week after, the idea for Piggy Vest literally dropped. And so the journey was tough. We were not receiving payment. I went salaryless for like 3 years, and had to rely on my younger sister for support, my dad. It was a really stressful time, but will I do it again? Yes, because it was really worth it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Adrian. This is really, really cool. Thank you for the session and the nuggets. And I hope that our participants picked quite a number of things that they could learn from this. We pray that your work will continually increase and boom, and things will go well for you. Now, to our attendees, we've heard from what Adu has shared, and I hope you picked a number of things. I also hope you took notes. Anyway, this is being recorded, and we will find the appropriate time to share so that you can always have a recap and also refresh yourself regarding the nuggets shared by Adu. And now this is for us very important. So at EduStart, our mission is to cultivate high-growth entrepreneurs and talents so that they can be able to create value, opportunities, and wealth. Categorically, basically to create prosperity. So, and that's why we are making efforts to get the likes of persons like Odun to share from their experiences so that we all could learn from such process and also apply and also help transform the world around us, no matter how small, whether in your community or your family or in the nation or the continent or the world as a whole. And that's why we exist, basically to create value and make things a lot better. So thank you very much for attending, and thank you for the things you've picked. Thank you once again to Odun. Can you all just click this hand again just to applaud Odun for the contributions she just made here today? Thank you very much. God bless you richly. And also the PGVS family, a number of which have made us proud, me as an individual personally, as well as Covenant University as an institution. Our love and greetings to Terry, to Joshua, to Sumto, and the rest of the team. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you all.
All right, I can see Isaiah Sadiq asking, I would like to know more about EduStart. Okay, I can see you're still here. All right, so EduStart basically is a think tank. It's an organization basically designed to enable entrepreneurship. So our mission basically is to cultivate high-growth entrepreneurs and talents in order to create prosperity. And the philosophy behind this is this. Looking at our nation, Nigeria, and the challenges around how talents are being developed, and the gaps and the high level of growth unemployment, it just makes sense for us to focus on cultivating the agents that will help us to create opportunities, value, and wealth. So that's what EduStart basically is pushing. You can go to edustart.global, that's our website, to learn a lot more about EduStart. You can also follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, also Instagram. You can also explore our EduStart online community by going to edustart.global, where you will find the place to log in as a community member and also learn a lot more about EduStart. To find out more, you can just send an email to learn@edustart.global. I'll just share that at the chat section now so you can have a look at it. Learn@edustart.global. You can do us an email. I'll get in touch with you. All right, thank you too. I can see lots of greetings on the chat section. Thank you. Thank you, Damlola. Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you, Speaksy, Temitokwe. Thanks to all of you too. Ojima, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thanks to all of you. Bye-bye.